Yo, what's going on, boys? How you guys doing today? Welcome back to the Steam 2 video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the best weapons that was added with this episode. And that is the new competitive weapon, the Redrix Estoc. Now this weapon, it is just a crazy pulse rifle. Bungie essentially looked at one of the best weapons in the game in the Battler and essentially said, but what if we made it even better? And that's how we ended up with this, now being one of the best weapons in the game, and for sure just the best pulse rifle used all around. It comes with some fantastic perks and a lot of different combinations that you can use mix and match to really make the roll that you like. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what are all the perks that this weapon can get, what are the ones that you should be going for if you're trying to get a god roll for this weapon, and at the end we'll have a review where I used to talk about the things that I like, dislike, and everything else related to the pulse rifle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you guys do, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. So first of all, how do you actually get this weapon? And you can get this by playing in the competitive playlist. You're going to have to do your 7 placement matches, and at the end of that 7th, you're going to get 1 to drop. And after that, every week when you do 3 matches, you'll get another drop of this weapon. And since it's the latest weapon, it cannot be focused at shacks yet. Now if you're watching this video when it goes live, I recommend you wait a couple of days before getting into competitive, unless you're 100% prepared to run into nothing but last words. It feels like the Wild West out there. You go around the corner and you have immediately a last word fight. It is pretty awesome if you're like big into the last word, but if you're not, just do not get in there because they are oppressive. The last words are very, very oppressive. So now I warned you, so now you'll know exactly what you're getting into. Now this pulse rifle is the second ever Legacy PR55 frame, just like the Battler. So it has increased accuracy, stability, and targeting when firing from the hip. So it's just really good at hip firing. So funnily enough, it actually also works really well with the Radiant Dance machines, just like the last word. But this frame is fantastic, it makes this weapon feel really good, and it even lets you use it very effectively at close range. Now this weapon doesn't really have any traits, instead it has stocks, and all of them increase your stability, your handling, or your recoil direction. So they all just pretty much add stats that are really good for the weapon. And now let's move on and actually start talking about the perks. We're not going to talk about every single perk, but we are going to talk about like the majority of them. Essentially use the best ones, and if there's any cool combos, I will also mention them as well. So let's get into it, and these are going to be the options that we have for the very first trade perk. We have Encore, Lone Wolf, Offhand Strike, Perpetual Motion, Send Moment, Rhyme Stealer, and Demolitionist. And the first thing that I just gotta say is that you do not have a single perk on this weapon that is not at least decent. So I just want you to keep that in mind as we talk about some of the best ones. So we're going to be starting from the top with Encore. Encore is going to give you stacking stability, range, and accuracy as we get some final blows. So it is pretty nice, but there's just going to be much better perks, especially that don't require a kill. And our next perk is actually one of those perks because we have Lone Wolf. This is going to increase our aim assist and then sight speed as well as our airborne effectiveness. This is just perfect. There's a reason why Lone Wolf has been slowly creeping into the meta. Actually, maybe not really slowly, but Lone Wolf is just fantastic. All of the stats that you get basically for free make any weapon feel better, and it's the same with this weapon. That extra aim assist is going to feel really good, and it's going to make the weapon feel better. This weapon also just at base has some really high stability. So you don't really need to prioritize stability on this as you might need to do on some other pulse rifles. After that, we're going to have Perpetual Motion. This is going to increase our weapon's stability, handling, and reload speed whenever we are in motion. This is going to be pretty good. It makes our already pretty great stats even better, and it makes this thing just super stable. Even just that one stack of Perpetual Motion, you will definitely feel it on this weapon. After that, we're going to have Send Moment. Whenever you deal damage with this weapon, it's going to decrease its recoil, and it also gives you some flinch resistance. This one's going to be really good, better than some of the other ones, because not only does it make this weapon into a laser, but that extra flinch resistance is something that's so underrated. Essentially, not being able to be flinched over your target is going to make a huge difference. So it's just overall going to make the weapon more consistent. Send Moment is a fantastic perk in any pulse rifle, but especially on this one. Next up, we're going to have Rhyme Stealer. Whenever we destroy some stasis crystals or we defeat some frozen targets, we gain some frost armor. And the only time that this is going to be good is if you pair it up with Headstone. And this is mostly going to be like the PvE perk setup. This thing has like basically one PvE role, and it's just Rhyme Stealer plus Headstone, and that's pretty much it. And the last perk we're taking a look at this slot is going to be Demolitionist. Whenever we get some kills, it's going to give us back some grenade energy. This one can be pretty okay. Always having more grenades is never a bad thing. I just don't think it's going to be as good as maybe some of the top perks. But it's pretty solid for either PvP, PvE. Demolitionist is always good. Not the best perks in this slot. For PvP, I definitely have to go with Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf is just fantastic, and it's gonna make the already good weapon even better. Now Encore and Send Moment will also be pretty good choices. And if you're looking to take this weapon into PvE, your only real choice is Rhyme Stealer. I guess you could also make a case for Demolitionist, since getting some more grenade energy is always useful in PvE. But I think Rhyme Stealer is really what's gonna make this weapon shine on some stasis builds. Now moving on to the second perk, these are the options that we have. We have Desperate Measures, Desperado, Headstone, Kill Clip, Head Seeker, Rapid Hit, and lastly Sword Logic. And since this is one of the brand new perks that we usually don't see, let's start with Sword Logic. Now Sword Logic is going to give you a damage boost depending on like the type of enemy that you kill. In the Crucible, every time that you defeat an enemy, it will give you 2 stacks of Sword Logic for a pretty serviceable 20% damage increase. But now seriously, this is pretty insane. It's gonna let you 2-burst pretty much anybody that's not 10 resilience. And something that makes this even crazier is that you don't need a reload like something like Kill Clip, and it's also one of the longest lasting damage buffs in the game. Usually damage buffs are around like 3 to 5 seconds, but this one is 7.5 seconds. Meaning that the likelihood that you run into somebody else while having the damage perk, it is very high. You could pretty much always keep that up till the next gunfight. And when you get that kill, you'll refresh the timer so you can be ready for the follow-up gunfight. Sword Logic is gonna be one of the best perks that you can possibly get on this pulse rifle. It is almost perfect. If you were able to 2-burst people at 10 resilience, then it 100% would be like the only perk we're going for. Now let's talk about the other perk that does actually let you 2-burst anybody that you want, and that is Kill Clip. Now the activation requirement is pretty similar to Sword Logic. You also have to get a kill, but you cannot use it right away like Sword Logic. You actually have to reload to activate it. So that's a bit of a downside when it comes to Kill Clip, but it makes up for it being able to 2-burst anybody. No matter their resilience, they are always going to go down with 2-burst, since it is a 25% increased damage, 5% more than Sword Logic. And what can I really say? It is just Kill Clip. Kill Clip is insane on the Battler, it is also insane on the Redrix. If you want just as much consistency as you can when it comes to like the 2-burst, then Kill Clip is more what you want to go for, but you want more uptime and also an easier time just getting follow-up kills, I think Sword Logic kind of wins out. But both of the perks are going to be amazing in their own way, so you can't go wrong with either of them regardless. The next perk we're going to be taking a look at is the staple Pulse Rifle's Head Seeker, and this will make it so you need one less headshot to secure a kill. Essentially, it's giving you more consistency, so if all you're looking for is consistency in like an environment like competitive or trials, then this is probably a perk that you'll really like. I think Kill Clip and Sword Logic work really well in like 6v6s, Control, Iron Banner, you know, stuff like that, where you could chain up a lot of kills. But if you want to make every shot count and secure those kills, I think Head Seeker definitely has a place. And the last perk we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Headstone. Headstone's going to be pretty good for PvE, especially decided to go with Rhyme Stealer. But even in PvE, something like Sword Logic actually kind of puts in work, since you're going to be getting just constant damage buffs, that it even gives Headstone a bit of a run for its money. Now I don't think it's going to be as good as Headstone just because of the synergy you have with like your Stasis class, but it gets pretty close. This second perk slot is pretty awesome. You have some really good choices, and overall I think they did a really nice job when it came to like the damage perks that they chose. Sure, there were some bad ones like Desperado that doesn't really drop your DK by a whole lot, but the other ones definitely made up for it. And now let's move on and actually start talking about the God Rolls, and let's get the PvE one out of the way, since I'm sure all of you have seen this coming. But Rhyme Stealer plus Headstone is gonna be your best bet, especially when you pair this up with like a Stasis build. And it's pretty much like the only time I would see people actually taking this into PvE for a role like this. And now when it comes to the Crucible, you're gonna have a lot of great combinations here. Essentially all 3 perks on the right column, Head Seeker, Kill Clip, and Sword Logic, pair up really well with Send Moment and Lone Wolf. Any combination of those 5 perks is essentially gonna give you a good roll. Send Moment plus Head Seeker, Send Moment plus Sword Logic, Send Moment plus Kill Clip, Lone Wolf plus Head Seeker, Lone Wolf plus Kill Clip, Lone Wolf plus Sword Logic, you kind of get the point. All of those perks are going to be very nice, and they got combined perfectly with each other. So I want to hear from you guys, what is the god roll that you guys are going to be chasing on this weapon? And have you gotten anywhere close to that roll? I know it's only been like a week, actually 2 weeks probably by the time this video gets posted. But hey, people get lucky, so maybe some of you guys already do have your god roll. But I think I'm going to be going for some Zen moment with Sword Logic. That seems very nice. The flinch resistance plus the insane damage buff that is Sword Logic will be very nice in like 6v6. So let me know your god roll in the comments below, and also just what you think of the weapon. And now here at the end, I don't even know what to say besides it is the best pulse rifle in the game. If you love the Battler already like I did, then you're gonna love this weapon even more because it's the Battler plus. Essentially, it's the Battler 2. It's still the amazing weapon you love on a different slot, so now regardless of which slot your special is in, you can pretty much always run the Battler if you want to. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. There's not really much that I can add besides this thing is just cracked, and definitely go get it. The weapon pretty much just speaks for itself. I am going to give you a warning though, once you pick it up and start using it in the Crucible, it is really hard to put down. It just feels so good, it's so deadly, it's going to make other weapons just seem not as good in comparison. But anyways, with that we're going to wrap up today's video. Thank you for watching, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone, have a good rest of the day, peace.